Hi, I'm Doug Gilmore. When I was working with Roger Miller in the 60s, late 60s, we had decided to do a USO tour because Roger had been a GI in Korea, and the GIs loved him. If we took money, we were only going to get like $3,000 a day because they didn't have any budgets, unless they had Bing Crosby or somebody. We decided that we could take a rank, the rank of E18, I think it was, which is a general, or we could take $2,000 a day. Well, shit. You could be a general on an army base and make that back in 15 minutes. So we decided to take rank, not knowing why, but we just did. We were all over the Far East, so the Philippines, Okinawa, and going to hospitals and shit. And that's some tough duty. Oh, man. But it was time to go to Vietnam. And everything had orders, Douglas C. Gilmore, AF2535514, your Social Security numbers and shit. And your orders. You're E18. So when you walk on the base, that MP at the front gate knows you ain't just some fucking asshole. You're some special asshole.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So our deal was we get on the plane, and the first 4 seats on the left-hand side or for Roger's band and me and Roger. So they're packing our shit and getting on. And the plane we're getting on is a plane that's coming from San Francisco that turns around in Okinawa, gets a new crew, and they fly into Vietnam. So the soldiers on there with their backpacks and them one, they're moving.
Yeah.
They're moving to Vietnam. And they're not at all happy with us saying, you got to get out of that seat. My drummer needs to sit there. Fuck you. And this is for your fucking drummer. Yeah? So Thumbs Carlisle was our guitar player. And Thumbs is a bit of an eccentric. Do you know Thumbs?
No. What a great moniker.
He plays the
for
guitar.
a guitar player.
He plays the guitar face up,
Okay.
tuned to R. And he can play and chord with both hands, and does.
Yeah.
But anyway, Thumbs was upset. Who upset J.I., who upset Roger, who said, we ain't going. Well, what the fuck am I going for? And so I tell the guy who's been loading all of our stuff on, get it all off. And he's like an airman third. He don't know. He got no authority for anything. None. So I said, you have to get our shit, the drums and guitars and suitcases. And he said, he said, I've got a hotel's full of shit in there. Well, I'm telling you, you got to get it out. He said, well, Colonel so-and-so's going to be really pissed. Well, why don't you call Colonel so-and-so and get his ass over here, tell him why we don't have the seats we're supposed to have. I said, we're going to Vietnam where they shoot at your ass. And if they don't know we're coming, and if they don't know we're in the first 4 seats, do they know to pick us up and take us to a hotel, or are we just going to graze?
Right.
Well, about that time, Colonel so-and-so comes pulling in, and he's drunk, been to the old club, and things have turned to shit while he was gone. And he is screaming at everybody, God damn you! And he came around and he was screaming, why did you tell these people to get off the goddamn airplane? So before we go much further into this conversation, what rank are you? He said, I'm a goddamn lieutenant colonel. I said, I needed it in numbers. He said, an E16. Well, you fucked up, Colonel. Because I'm a goddamn E18. And you didn't do your fucking job. I'm reporting your ass. And Roger saying, lighten up. I said, I don't have to. Like a general. Really?
Special asshole.
Well, I know it's a long story, but it's a great story. So somebody says, well, what are we going to do? And I said, I called the hotel where we just were. And I said, we just checked out of 8 rooms and I want them back. They said, well, we hadn't even cleaned them. We'll take them.
It's our shit.
Yeah, deal.
It's our mess. We'll move right
Yeah.
back in.
So we were back in the hotel in 30 minutes, you know. All this behind us. Well, as I had said earlier, this was a turnaround for crews. You know, so there was a crew overnighting there that was going to go back to San Francisco the next day when that plane came back. Which means there were stewardesses. That's where I come in.
Back when they were stewardesses.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
Like actually stewardesses.
I got it, went back to my room, and I called my stewardess. We needed room service. So she came back, and we got back in bed, and there was a knock at the door. It's now like midnight. Knock at my fucking door, and I get up, and it's J.I. No, I didn't get up. The door wasn't locked. He just walked in. And he said, man, I need your help. What? What kind of help do you need? He said, I'm in a fight down in the fucking lobby, and I need your fucking help.
You're in a fight right now talking to me?
Yeah. So he slammed the door and walked out. And the girl was saying, well, what kind of, I thought that was your best friend. Well, he is. And you're leaving him.
Not anymore, I guess.
Yeah. So I just slipped on a pair of pants and a shirt and some shoes, and I go down the lobby, and it's 1 o'clock now. And the lobby is dark, nobody there. There was one guy working the front desk. He said, you look for him? I said, somebody just knocked in my room, said there was a fight going on down there. He said, no, they're in dining room. Well, the dining room's not lit up, there's no lights on. He said, open that door. I opened the door. J.I. had gotten everybody in the hotel up. It was now my birthday. Once we went past midnight, we were on the 25th of July. So we had 2 birthday cakes. Now this is mid-March. Where did he do this? Well, we had a food fight with birthday cakes. When I left there the next morning, you couldn't even see the keys on the Wurlitzer. You know, it was just goos. Yeah, you know. I mean, that'll never work again. You know, that's done. That's done. So I go up to my room and lay down in the bed, and the phone rings. By now it's 8:30, and it was Admiral Halsey, commander of the Pacific Fleet, and he wants me in his office in 15 fucking minutes. And I said, well, I haven't showered. 15 fucking minutes. Well, they came and got me in one of those cars with the little flags on the fenders.
Special asshole car.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's what those flags say.
So we go out there, and it's not Halsey, that's not his name, but it was somebody that you would recognize that well. And a commander of all you can see. So he said, tell me what happened, son. I said, well, you know, I got on the thing. We didn't have the seats, and nobody knew what was supposed to be going on or who was to pick us up. And they said, and what'd you do? I said, I want my shit off there. I said, I'm responsible for these people. I'm not going to go get them killed over some fucking jokes and songs and shit. You know, not going to happen. He said, I don't blame you. And the colonel was there. He said, Colonel, tell me what you saw happen. The colonel would, and he chewed his ass that worse than I did. Then he says, I'd like to apologize to Mr. Miller. I'll tell him. He said, no. I want to shake his hand, look him in the eye, and apologize to Mr. Miller. Well, last time I saw Roger, he could go duck hunting with a rake. I mean, he was fucking higher than... I mean, we just got 8,000 fucking uppers, you know? And we could have kept China high for a week. So I called Roger, and I said, the Admiral wants to meet you and thank you. And he went, no problem. Well, if we came out to your room, no problem. Really? Roger, it's Doug. I'm bringing an Admiral to your room. Are you ready? Yeah, yeah. And I'm picturing 10,000 bottles, pill bottles piled up over here. And so when we get to the lobby, I call and I say, you're still sure it's okay for us to come up? Yeah. Come on. So I opened the door, and I could smell burnt shit. And Roger had a mohair suit he was ironing.
A mohair suit.
He was ironing.
Did it smell like burning hair?
Yes.
Oh,
And he had the coffee table,
man.
up in the middle of the bed.
Well, now that makes sense. That's a good
And that's
idea.
where he was, yeah.
That's smart.
And he had on the suit coat and a white shirt with a tie. And he's ironing this thing. And
What's he ironing, the pants?
yeah. And every time he touched them, you go, oh, no, no. Oh, and stink. So I said, Admiral, it's Roger Miller. And the Admiral came running over with his hand, and Roger dropped the pants on the floor, put them on, tucked his balls in real good, zipped it up, and went, nice to meet you, Admiral. What's up? And the guy said, well, I want to apologize for all the shit you went through, and man, what can I do to make it up? Roger said, this iron is running really hot.
This is
And he snatched it out of Roger's hand and he said, Colonel! And handed that fucking hot iron to the colonel. Get this fixed and back in his room by 1,400 hours. That's a great story. True.